The Warhound Titan, an ancient machine predating the rise and fall of the Emperor. The Wolf of the Legios Titanicus, or whatever it's called. The Spear Tip of the Immortal God Machines, the largest model Games Workshop has ever made. In 2003. Yes, the largest, smallest model Games Workshop sells. Still an absolutely preposterous miniature, weighing in at 10 pounds of pure resin. This was the first Titan, and I have one. But how am I going to paint it? Well, let's just say this video is sponsored by Army Painter. Now, is this going to be an easy paint job? Well, I am cautiously optimistic because really, this is just one big Space Marine. Gray body with some colorful paneling on top. So I think it's actually going to be a breeze to paint this Titan. I'm sure I will not regret those words. And stick around to the very end to see what I plan to do once this model is finished. Let's see what I got in terms of metallics. Ooh, I have so many shiny colors to choose from. Greedy gold, gemstone, tainted gold. I'm gonna go with really, really bright, warm colors for the armor. So I might wanna go cold on all of the metal. Speaking of metal, gunmetal might be the perfect start. I don't want full opacity. I just want a whisper, just a whisper of metallic. That definitely gave it a sparkle. I think I do wanna move into the warm spectrum. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Just some evil chrome. I forgot all about these guns. All right, they get copper first. It's all shiny and perfectly ready for a wash. I wanna make a nice dark wash, lots of black, a little bit of brown, and if I need to, I have some Army Painter Speed Paint Grim Black ready to go if I need to modulate some colors. I'm using the speed paint to darken where there should be shadows on the armor. It looks like metal. Now it's time to go back to one of my all-time favorites, dry brushing with a little silver to bring back the glitter and to bring up the brightness of the metal. I've got this color Tundra Effects, which is kind of a pearlescent color. I think it'll be perfect for edge highlighting. Now to pick out all the little hydraulics with a little touch of copper. Now that I got such a big brush, why not do a little brush on highlight? I wonder how many Space Marines this guy could kill. Yeah, I think that'll do it for the metal. All that work and no one is ever really gonna notice because all they're gonna be looking at is those bright armor panels. And speaking of armor panels, I wanna go with a checker of red and yellow and then white for the old noggin. But do I brush it on or do I airbrush it on? I think I'm gonna do it with a brush. Maybe I'm a madman, but I think this actually might be easier. That's gonna look like something. I own 3 airbrushes and I'm painting a Titan with a brush. What is happening? The freehand checkering is all done, and it certainly looks like freehand, but now I'm gonna take the airbrush and I'm gonna perfect it. Now it's time to fix any flaws in my gradients. Not a very impressive gradients, but after a little airbrushing, cleans it right up. Yeah! There's still stuff I could do to that armor. Man, look at how that banana yellow and fire truck red glow with the gloss varnish on there. Now time for washes. Think a little combination of strong tone and dark tone. Airbrushing to Hush. Airbrushing did a pretty good job of giving me a nice shadow along the edge of the trim, but I want to make it even more bold. The gloss varnish is going to help the wash flow right into the recesses and corners, so hopefully I don't have to do any repair work, which is good, because even though this is one big Space Marine, it's a really big Space Marine, and so every step that would normally take a few seconds to a few minutes takes a very long time. Let's do a little paint chippage. And then just a little bit of verdigris, running off of the chips. Whatever this Titan is made out of, it bleeds blue. Does it make that much sense? No. But is it very colorful and striking? Yes. Look at all that lovely armor, and it barely took any time. It definitely didn't take hours and hours, but it's done. Now I think I want to shine up his head a little bit. There we go. That is a crispy, crispy head. Man, that white paint didn't want to let go. But speaking of let go, now it's time for a little plasma glow. I'm gonna paint the plasma again. Now, most people go with a nice blue, or if you're a cast player, a pink, but I'm gonna go with neon green. Probably wouldn't hurt to go back to that white just for a bit. Got this little dark green, maybe a little of this. The trick to plasma guns is you want it to really flow into the recesses, and that can be helped by splashing a little water on there before you've applied the paint. Then once you got that paint, it should slide right in there. And now a little fluorescent paint. Typically fluorescent paint is very thin. Yeah, that'll be perfect. And then some fluorescent yellow. That is hard to look at, it's so vibrant. Ooh, and it needs just one more touch. I got some white paint on the palette. I just want to do a little line of white dots on the hottest part of each little, what even are these, the plasma coils? Heard that word before. Oh yeah, that is a gun that can blow up just about any tank in one shot. Gotta see what it looks like on the guy. Yeah! Ah, that is such a retro Warhammer look. That crazy, crazy green. That is vibrant. But speaking of something that's not very vibrant, it's time for the base. Since this model is so warm, I want to go with nothing but cools for the base. And let's see if I can do this without getting any paint all over the guy's feet. Yeah, now a little potion green, a little blue, green, white. It's really shaping up. Now just a little bit of dark tan because I'm feeling wild. I hear those Titanic feet pack a punch. Yeah! Ooh. You know, that's probably the warmest blue you could ever blue, but it doesn't matter because all of the colors on the base are different than the guy, and he really stands proudly on top of it. That is probably every single big giant step. Now that's left is all the little tiny details. And there's a lot of little tiny details. Much better. Now I can actually see what I'm doing. Ooh, I can't forget my paint. Time to get to work. The biggest challenge is going to be painting all that trim on the Titan. I've painted some Chaos Space Marines before, and those guys have trim on trim, but this sucker has about 50 feet of big old Titan trim, and it all needs to be painted perfectly. It all needs 2 coats of yellow and 2 coats of gold to get the shine I'm after. And if when I paint the other one of these, I'm gonna leave all the armor pieces off the model because it is tough to work around this heavy chunk of resin. Every rivet got a squirt of dark brass with the airbrush. This sorta looks a little bit like non-metallic metal. It gives some variety to the gold. Once every rivet got a drop of gold, the trim was looking interesting and not just like shiny ribbon. The plasma blast gun is finished and it's so pretty. This one hunk of resin, this one weapon option is somehow one of the more expensive pieces from all of Games Workshop. There is nothing I can do to justify that price, but it is kinda cool. This Titan might be massive, but you know what it is absolutely dwarfed by? That's right, this video's sponsor, the Army Painter. The Army Painter has been hard at work making paints and supplies for us wargamers for 15 years now, using high quality products that are affordably priced, all designed to make painting fun, easy, and fast. From quick shade dips to color primers, acrylic war paints, air paints, speed paints, and boatloads of battlefield supplies, the Army Painter has everything you could ever want to help get your minis ready for the tabletop. Their air paint range is especially useful, not just for us weirdos with airbrushes to quickly get paint ready to spray, but also it's no slouch in hand painting either. The thinned down formula is perfect for brushwork and is especially helpful to use not just the same color of paint, but the exact same bottle of paint for all steps. I've been painting this Titan with nothing but Army Painter air colors, a little bit of quick shade washes, and just a dash of speed paint, and I think it's turning out lovely. So if you're at all interested in trying out some new colors, why don't you head on over to Army Painter's website and check them out for yourself. And you know what else is pretty cool? The detailed interior. This is one thing the little Warhound Titan has that the $2,000 Warlord Titan does not. Look at all that nice stuff. Sure, you have to pull them all apart to get a look at it, but it's worth it. A few metallics and washes, and the guts were looking nice. The screens are a simple recipe, an airbrush green glow, as many white scratchy stripes going across the screen as I can fit, and then another airbrushing of fluorescent green. I bet those ultra bright screens in the Dark Titan is bad for their eyes. Say it with me now, let's paint a dick banner. I prepared it to look like old canvas with some brown and tan, and then came freehanding. It took ages because of how big this banner is. Just a big old banner hanging between his legs. I brought all the same colors that were on the Titan's body onto his banner, which was especially convenient because they were already on my palette. The real work will be done with decals. The more decals, the more important the model, and I can't think of a more important model than the Titan. The banner was looking a little less than perfect, but instead of going back in and perfecting the banner with many more hours of freehanding, I just splattered dirt all over it and called it a day. Now it's all about that base. Bases are always fun and relaxing because it's hard to screw them up. Just glazes and washes, it's a nice way to cool down after a big old paint project. After many hours of working really hard to get the paint just perfect, you just load up some brown paint onto a big old brush, turn on some Chumbawamba, and go to town. I have been painting this Titan for well over 30 hours. I think I'm done. The Warhound Titan. It's all painted, it's all pretty, it's ready to wreak havoc on the battlefield. This right here is 2,000 points of Warhound Titan, and this is 2,000 points of 3-up save, 2 wound Space Marines. And I wanna make them fight. Boom! The Plasma Blast Gun is 2d6 strength, 7 attacks, and it is blast. Ooh, and before I roll those dice, I should check the range. It has a 72-inch range. Yep, they are just within. 12 shots hitting on 3s. Wounding the poor Space Marines on 2s. Uh-oh, looks like they all wounded. Now the Space Marines do get a save, but it's a 7-up save. So let's see how many 7s they can roll. Uh-oh, it looks like no 7s, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dead Space Marines. I'm gonna kill our Patreon supporters first, because the highest tier on our Patreon is you get your name on one of my Black Templar Space Marines, and what better way to show our appreciation of their support than killing them with a Warhound Titan. But let's see what the Vulcan Megabolter can do. Now the Vulcan Megabolter is coming in at a measly 20 shots. 20 shots of strength 6 going into the Space Marines. 3 Space Marines have the blessings of the Emperor, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more Space Marines bite it. Now you might have thought this Warhound was all out of tricks, but it has one more weapon up its sleeve. Actually not up its sleeve, it's Titanic Feet. That is 8 more shots coming at the Space Marines. Weapon skill 4-up. I don't see a single 7, and that is 5 more dead Space Marines. Now 17 dead Space Marines might not seem like a crazy number for a Titan, and aren't these Space Marines, there's still the better part of 100 left. Aren't they going to wreck this guy? Well, this Warhound Titan has void shields. So even if they manage to do tons and tons and tons of damage, all of that damage is gonna be sucked up by these little shield generators. And if you try to pull that same maneuver the next turn, well, guess what? After 3 wounds are lost, I just lose 1 more shield generator. And now the Space Marines have to battle through all 50 of this Warhound Titan's wounds. So this guy can really take a punch. Warhound Titan, it may not be a practical model, it may not even be a competitive model, but it is a really fun model, and I now have one. But as much as I love this Warhound Titan, especially after spending so long putting it together and getting it all painted up, my favorite Titan is the Reaver Titan. And I would like to propose a possible trade. If any of you guys out there have a Reaver Titan, complete, but in any condition, painted, built, new in bag, I will trade you this Warhound Titan, the Titan that just killed these 17 Space Marines, for your Reaver Titan. Because I want a Reaver. I want one of those bug-faced, tree-trunk-legged weirdos. And so if any of you guys out there really like the look of this Warhound Titan, why don't you reach out to us? Maybe we can do a little business. But until then, I will be basking in the glow of the Warhound Titan, the smallest of the Titans, but in my opinion, the second best Titan that Forge World sells. Yes! Second best. Warlord Titan is number 4. I don't like the Warlord Titan that much, but I really do like the weird Titans from 2003 and the Reaver from 2008.